Thank you guys for joining us again for another episode of What Are We Doing? It's our Tuesday at 10 live podcast here at the Pursuit of Purpose. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And today our topic is
Rebuilding from the rock bottom.
rebuilding from rock bottom. Man, I'll tell you what, that hits home with me.
Me too. Yes, sir.
I personally have gotten to what I thought was my rock bottom multiple times in my life. Right. Even in childhood, I've been through rock bottom experiences.
Right.
And I'll tell you that before a few years ago, I never saw it as the opportunity that I see it as right now.
Absolutely.
My perspective was totally not the same. I was in much more of a negative frame of mind, and I didn't realize just how valuable rock bottom could really be.
Absolutely. I think if I look back, I'm talking like you yourself, childhood, teen years, 20s, it was more of a punishment. Like I was getting something I deserved or whatever.
Well, you were.
Yeah, it was, but in a negative way. In a punishing way. I had no idea until I got a little bit older and went through a few more that I began to realize, oh, this is opportunity.
This is done for me, not to
done for me. Right. Yes. Right. And that has really helped. And I hope this helps. Well, as we discuss this out today, it helps our friends who tune in and listen. And we know you've been through it. Everybody's been through it. You're not going to make it to your teens all the way into your well adult years without having several of those stories to share. And without going into details, it's those rebuilding components that actually started to become fun.
Yeah.
Oh, what's next? What's next? And so I look forward, hopefully, to hearing from some of our folks and send in, these things happen, and this is maybe something it did for me.
And if you guys joining us live, whether you be on Facebook, YouTube, believe it or not, we might be older, but we're on TikTok, guys. We're on TikTok Live. So if you're joining us on whatever platform it might be, share with us. And if you'd like to keep it, confidential or whatever, just, let us know, and we'll share the story without the source.
Absolutely.
Be glad to do that. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to talk about it. And if you're going through something right now, which would be vitally important, we would love to help you. Yes. If you've got a story you'd like to share, maybe between the two of us, maybe we've got some insight into it, or maybe somebody else in the audience does.
Well, we definitely have experience. I can tell you that.
Right.
Fortunately or unfortunately, that's a fact. And if some of those treasures that we've learned going through these things can help, it's ours to share. That's a privilege.
Well, I'll share one of my rock bottom experiences, and for those of you in the Southeast Texas area, y'all are all going to be able to relate to this, even if it didn't, personally impact you and bring you to a rock bottom. Hurricane Harvey was a type of rock bottom experience for my family and myself.
Yes.
There are so many of us that went through this experience in Southeast Texas, but personally, I was out the days leading up to the worst part of it. I was out in a boat rescuing people and helping ferry them across high water and helping the county and emergency management do their thing. Right. And I was one of the first ones out there doing that. Mm-hmm. And then 2 days into it, I'm out in my boat and my wife calls me. Says, you need to get home.
Oh,
so I get home, and all our neighbors have already flooded, and it's getting to the point where we can't get out of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we've got neighbors that have come to our house. The water hadn't yet gotten into our house, but we were losing our confidence.
Uh-oh.
So I got home, and we had a house full of our neighbors. And so I started grilling on the barbecue pit.
Okay.
And it got into the evening, and at about, somewhere right around dark, the water started rolling in our house.
Boom.
And we had all our neighbors and their pets and our kids, and everything was there. So without knowing what else to do, everybody in the house went upstairs, and power, of course, went out, and we just did our best to fall asleep and assess the damage the next day. Now, there's a lot of other stories that I could tell about this event. There was a ton of things that happened throughout, but in that one moment, within a 30-minute time span, we thought we had lost all of our material possessions.
Wow.
Which is, on camera, just hearing this story, that may not sound like a whole lot,
Right.
but it was what we had worked for and built up.
That's right.
For the, up until that point in our lives, everything we had and we thought was, except for our lives, we kept those.
Absolutely.
And we didn't lose any human life of our family at that point.
Right.
But all our worldly possessions, man, that felt so devastating.
Right.
And one of the worst things about it was we had to clean up the loss.
Yes.
So not only did we lose all this stuff that we had worked so hard for,
you had to clean it.
Yes.
Yes.
So I had to come in and figure out a way to clean up the mess.
Right.
And we did get some help from our community and friends. And we were so grateful for that. For those of you out there who may see this show and you know who you are, but there were quite a few of you who showed up unasked and just gave your heart.
Yeah.
And helped us, tear the wet sheetrock out and clean out all the wet trash and everything else out of our house. And we can't thank you enough. But that was a truly rock bottom experience.
Right.
And something amazing. Here we are. We just made the 8-year anniversary of this.
Yeah.
My wife and I were sitting in the room over the weekend. And some of those, how Facebook reminds you about things. Well, some of those reminders came up.
Oh, wow.
And it showed the pictures. So she shared them. And I look back on that and I don't feel the sense of loss anymore. I actually feel now at this point in my life, I feel like had it not been for that moment, I wouldn't be sitting here right now where I am.
Wow.
Because that
profound,
that enormously painful experience was the catalyst that began the movement in a slightly different trajectory for my life.
Okay.
So I can truly say I am grateful.
Yes.
For that rock bottom experience.
Yes.
Because it helped me shift my paradigm, my mindset.
Right.
To be open to this.
Right. And I love the story because in the moment, like so many of our neighbors, that is not what they were thinking. They were thinking this is the worst thing ever. They were entertaining so many layers of loss and deprivation, not knowing that they were just opening up all these cavities of rebirth.
Right.
And like a career. And in a lot of cases, I think, because I've counseled with a lot of folks since that particular storm, I did several classes. We were fortunate. So our job was to go help other people. So there were folks within walking distance we were able to help, my daughter and I. And then there were other situations too. I used the grief class that I do for, unfortunately, when people have lost by death. And I just transformed it to what you just said. All those treasures, all those heirlooms, all those little memorials that they could hold in their hand, and they're gone.
Yeah.
And they're not coming back. And it had so many similarities. However, some of the things that I met folks later, because now they'll refer people to my classes and they'll say, remember we came to your Harvey class? I go, oh, yeah. And they'll say, and one of the things I find this interesting is they don't hold on to a lot of those treasures like they used to.
Yes.
They have now kind of repurposed what's most valuable. And they still have some things. They still take pictures and they still do collectors.
Well, I'm still a pack rat, and I was before.
Okay. Well, I think that's easy to do. I don't think that's difficult considering the vast numbers of people who love, and my better word is collecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to use the H word, because that may be a little close to home for some folks. But no, pack ratting, okay, I suppose. Definitely collecting.
So I'm going to share another little part of that story that was very inspiring, and it has been for the few people that we've shared it with. You guys are in for a little bit of a treat because this story has not been publicly talked about very much. So my wife and I met through great tragedy. Now, this is not a big secret, but we met because we each had a daughter with cancer.
Yes.
Which is another rock bottom type of an experience.
Yes.
And we built a family on that.
Yeah.
Through trials, tribulations, and enormous loss. But the one aspect, I'm going to relate this to Harvey a little bit, okay? So we had a child that died with cancer at 8 years old. Her name is Taylor. And I had a painting made from a gentleman that lives up near Dallas, and he's a doctor actually, and he also lost a child, and he began painting. So to honor Taylor, I had a portrait of her made of one of my wife's favorite pictures of her at the beach. So this artist made a rendering of that portrait, and we had it in our room when Hurricane Harvey happened, and we kind of forgot it. We forgot the painting was there, and the water had gotten to a level where we really thought the painting had been lost. And it was a one of a kind, one of those irreplaceable kind of things.
Right.
And to us, it was a representation of her beauty and what she was. I mean, the painting wasn't her, no, but it represented her memory and honoring her. So it held a lot of value with that memorialization.
For sure.
So, wow, one of those days after, when the water was still up and everything was still floating around inside of our house, I went back when the realization that painting had been we thought had been lost. I went back by myself, swam into the house, and went to our bedroom where the painting was, and thought for sure I really thought we were going to find it destroyed. Right. Well, the painting had hung directly above a chest of drawers, a dresser. Right. So when the flood happened, and I can't explain this, so any of you out there who want to argue with me that there's no God, this is my proof that God is real and he has his hand on our life. And as silly as it may sound that a painting would represent something of that value, so this dresser that was below the painting had apparently floated up and knocked the painting off the wall, and some kind of a miracle happened, and that painting landed on the back of that dresser.
What?
Face down, where the painting itself was against the flat back of the dresser, and the dresser had floated the entire time, and the painting was untouched. Had no water damage whatsoever. It's perfectly dry. The frame hadn't even gotten wet. I could not believe my eyes when I saw this thing. And there I am standing in the water.
Yes.
I'm chest deep in water in our home, and I'm holding this miracle.
Wow.
And I could not believe it. To this day, that painting is back where it was.
Right.
In the original spot where it hung.
Right.
And there's a new dresser below it.
Right. Okay.
And there it sits in all its glory, and it's perfect.
That is an amazing story.
So
that's it. That's your one, if not the only one, but we'll say for the sake of our conversation today, there's that one piece of flower or fruit to rebuild.
Right.
There it is right there. Wow. And the fact that it laid face down, that meant any humidity.
Yeah.
Because, our houses with water are nothing but little just pockets of humidity. That's all they are. I mean, if you folks have ever been around something like that, remember your ceiling fan blades and everything just started sinking because of the pressed wood?
Yeah.
So, but it all protected itself. Every bit of it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story. I love it.
So from that rock bottom, and this is a fascinating thing, after the death of a child, my wife struggled a lot with grief. In fact, for those of you who don't know it out there, that's how Chuck and I, that's how we met. That's how our friendship was started, through that rock bottom experience.
There it is.
And through that friendship, we created this practice. So there you go. There's another example. But that painting experience was something that was extraordinarily profound to my wife, because with such grief and the loss of a child, she questioned God's existence. She questioned, her faith and the validity of a supreme being who has our best interest at heart,
Right.
And that painting represented a touch of love from God.
There you go. Hope.
Yes, a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that might be a cool story to share with you guys.
It definitely is.
Love to hear your stories. If you've got a rock bottom experience,
Absolutely.
please don't hesitate.
Yeah.
And those of you who have joined us, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, we would love to hear from you. Thank you for being here with us.
I'll leave this thought. We listen to a lot of things, Rob. We listen to books and other speakers and even people who offer, but sometimes we listen to their recordings. And I was listening to it was an older version of what became a famous pastor in American history. It was Billy Graham. I was catching one of his when I was on the way home, so I just turned it on. And in the midst of that sermon, he said something. He said that just to remind people that only flowers and fruit grow in the valleys. They don't grow on the mountaintops, but you take that fruit with you on your journey of ascension.
Right.
And I thought, man, that is powerful. That is good. And the rest of the sermon was good, I'm sure, but that one point, whether he wrote it or whether he quoted it, made so much sense to me. And your flooding story has those moments. The fruit, the seed, the fruit and flower that came from those moments in the settlement of all of that destruction are basically what we have here, among other things. Reclaiming careers and all kind of neat things like that, because I know that your wife has even done some of those things.
Yeah.
And maybe that started some of those seeds to birth, if you will. So if you're in a valley, if you're in a tough time, if you're at a rock bottom, and it's a lot of times when folks come in and visit with us about, say, relationships and things like that, they go, Chuck, where's this going? I said, to a rock bottom. And they'll say, what does that mean? I go, well, we don't know yet. You're not going to be there alone. You got friends, like you mentioned, your friends that came and helped. But it's going to be a rock bottom. You'll know it. And at that moment, you'll have nothing else to do but then to rebuild.
I'm going to say something that maybe you guys in the audience will understand. And Chuck, maybe you can help me drive this point in a little bit, but there's a fascinating thing. We use the analogy of rock bottom, that idea, the concept of falling all the way to a rock bottom. What that says to me is that you have reached a point of foundation. You have gotten to a place that is truly solid.
Yes.
You've gotten through all the mud, all the mire, all the damage, all of the chaos, and you've gotten to a place that is solid and that will support you, and that you can now build something real on top of, and it'll be stable. And that's one of the most beautiful parts of the quote unquote rock bottom experience, is that when you finally get to that place, the bottom is solid.
Yes. It's
stable. And for those of you out there who are Christians and who are living by faith, what does the Bible say?
It says, build your hope on the rock.
And who's the rock?
That's Jesus.
There you go. So when you find yourself at what you think to be, what you believe to be, what you feel to be a rock bottom experience, consider it all joy.
That's it.
Because you have found a place of foundation.
Yep.
You have found a place to gain direction. You've found a place to have purpose and to create peace.
Right.
And to grow. In the midst of falling, you can't grow.
That's right.
And until you reach that bottom, you're falling.
Yeah. Well, once you reach it and you cannot go any lower, and this is where you drive your first pillar. It's like a caisson on a bridge. They go to the bottom of the river. They go to the rock,
right,
as deep as they possibly can into the earth, and to hold up what are going to be millions of tons of cement, and then all the traffic and everything. But that's how we can traverse, if you will. We can get from here to there. So embrace the rock bottom. It's not an end of bad things. It's a beginning of good things.
That's right. That's right. Well, guys out there, we really appreciate y'all joining us today. No matter what platform you're on, we would love to hear from you. Send us a message. If there's a topic you'd like to hear us discuss, we do this live show every Tuesday at 10 o'clock, and we would love to hear from you. We'd love to help you if we can be of help. We'd even love to entertain you if that's all we're good for. We'll give you a good laugh. But we would love to hear from you, and we would love to hear what's important to you. We'd love to hear what you're going through. And we really appreciate all the support we have. You can find us on every audio outlet that you use for like podcasting and things like that. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean. You can find us on all social medias. Well, I say all. There's a new one that pops up seems like daily.
Right.
But we endeavor to cover all the bases that we can.
Certainly.
So please let us know if there's anything that we can be of service to you about or for. We love to engage with our audience. And thank you for allowing us to become a part of the pursuit of your purpose. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
Y'all have a great day, and we'll talk soon.